Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cozy Cabin Garden. I'm Tony, your local arborist and gardener. I garden in central Maine in a zone 4B5. Today I thought we'd do a quick little kind of tutorial. I have this profusion crabapple here that back in 2024 I had a pine limb come down and basically wiped out my central leader that was here. So in the winter of 24, I had cut this off, cleaned everything up, and now 2025 it put on new growth. You can see right here there's another one behind it and kind of two more here. So basically I need to decide which one of these do I want to be a central leader, to continue on its growth, and which ones I want to cut back and remove. I'll bring you up a little closer so you can get a better look at that. So you can see here, this is where it had originally was the central leader. Nice and big and thick. I'd say about an inch. When the tree came down, it wiped that out, so I had to cut it. There was another branch over here. I'd cut that off. So now you have a new central leader taken over here. Believe it or not, that is all 1 year's growth. Trees always put, like a lot of plants, all the energy goes up. Then you have this second one that's back here. And then last but not least, there was this branch coming off here, and then two more grew. So I definitely know I don't want, this one or this one. So we're going to start by taking them two off first. So a couple tools, I got just my regular hand pruners. Get down here, pair of loppers, bigger pair, in case, we get anything, bigger. And then, she got a little rusted on me. Don't think I'll need this today, but I do have a hand orchard saw. So like I said, I'm gonna start with taking these two off first. We'll start making some cut decisions. A lot of people kind of overthink this a lot. Trees are pretty resilient. It's gonna find its main leader again, whether you did nothing or not. Don't mind me if you see my hands in my pockets a lot. It's 15 degrees out this morning here. We got down to about 10 degrees last night, and winter just won't let up here in Maine. Today is March 28th. So we'll start making some cuts. So simply, I'm just gonna pull out my hand pruners for these. I'm just gonna cut these off. Because I don't want that vertical growth there. Now I cut those off. I may I may leave this for this to continue and grow and branch out. You know, but see, I'll take, got a couple more little things right here. I'm gonna cut these off because if I do decide to keep that, I don't want these growing back into the center of the tree. Same thing with this little wispy one right here. We're gonna just take that off. And when I'm making these cuts, it's what they call the collar. It's kind of where the new growth comes out. You'll see it swelled up. It kind of looks like a ring. You kind of want to cut a nice flush. That way the cambium can heal back over itself. So we're gonna remove that. I'm gonna make a few more pruning cuts here too that I'm gonna show you. Let me just make sure we got it all on the camera. Yeah, we can see that. Actually, let me bring you up close and show you why I'm gonna make a few more pruning cuts. Now, this doesn't happen to me all the time. I don't have any issue with deer during the spring, summer, fall. They're not really here, but during the winter, especially if it's a rough winter, they'll come out and they bite the tips off. So what I want to do is I just want to cut these tips off so I have a clean tip and a new bud. So you can see like a new bud here, and this will shoot off and this will continue the branch. So we're going to make a few of them pruning cuts real quick. So I try to look for a bud that's facing out, that's going to continue my growth, so my growth will come out. You know, I have on this branch right here, you know, I have one shooting straight up. I wouldn't want to cut it to there because I don't want this branch to go this way, where I have a bud here that's facing out this way. So what I'll do is I'll just take my pruners, well, this way, got to use your pruners the right way, and I will cut it right back to there. And that's going to force that growth out. Another one right here. It's actually split. I'm going to take those. They chewed this one pretty good. I'm going to cut that right there. I'm going to take this whole branch out because I don't like the way it's coming in and then coming back out there. So that's going to go. Cut that there. Gonna cut that there. That one's good. This branch is kind of weird. It's started heading down. I'm actually gonna just take that one out. Take this little one. Gonna take that to there. Take that to there. Another little cut there. So I don't know if you can see this. I'll bring the camera closer in just a second, but I got some branches here that are kind of crossing, so we'd have to clean that up anyways. I will I will come over and show you that in just a second. Good, give me a second for my hands to warm up here. Bring it in closer over to here. Hopefully the sun won't bother. Let's see, can you see that? So right here, you see I got these branches. Kind of get my finger in there, but they're rubbing, so this one or this one has to go. I think for right now, because this one's coming straight out where this one's shooting up, I'm gonna remove this one here. Little dark this way. It's early in the morning. I brought some gloves, but they got cold too quick, so didn't want to put my hands into them. So I am going to take this right there. Got a couple crossing right here. I like this one better. Gonna clean this up to a bud there. And just there. Oh, bit one right there too, I guess. All right, so we're getting close here to having to make the money cut. Bring this back around over here. Little better to see. All right. So basically I'm left to make these for decisions here. Like I said, I now have this leader or I have this leader. I kind of like this one because it's central to this. This will eventually all heal over. I can kind of show you about what I mean about the tree healing itself. Come down here. So you can see where one of my branches had broke off. From here, and you can see this edge here is starting to heal itself. That's the cambium layer going, and it will heal that wound. That's why it's important to make a good clean cuts so the tree can heal itself. So I got two choices. So I guess basically, I think what we're gonna do here, and I actually may need to use that handsaw. Hopefully it will cut. Looks like we'll have to replace that blade. If I leave this, I don't think I'm thinking about taking this whole piece right out. We're not really losing too much. And just making a cut here and leaving this. Yeah, that's what we're gonna go for. So I'm gonna get the handsaw out. Need to just tighten this up a little bit. Screws are just a little loose. There's just two screws with nuts that hold this hold this saw. This is made by the Fano Saw Works. This is a hand saw. So I'm gonna try not to get bit by the tree. So I'm gonna make a cut right here. This is a small branch. If it's a bigger branch, you would want to make 2 cuts and then make your final cut. But with this, I can hold it, and I'm gonna simply make a cut right here. You just let the saw do the work. It only cuts when you pull backwards, and we got a good clean cut. So as you can see, this is kind of all pruned up. I expect this to put on some more growth this year, and the caliper of this will get quite a bit thicker. You know, you got this big branch, but I think this one will eventually take over. You know, as this grows, crab apples kind of grow pretty wild anyway, so to keep them kind of in shape, you have to do some pruning on them. Like you'll see some of these over here. I eventually may take these out as they grow. I'll probably leave them for now. They kind of, on a regular apple tree, you would call these water sprouts. They shoot straight up and they grow really fast. Well, you know what? We're right here. I'm gonna get rid of them now. I don't really like that one shooting up either. As this tree grows anyways, we'll you know, I kind of like that right there. Growth bud right there, so I'm gonna cut it just above that one. As you know, as this tree grows and gets bigger, I think this is a profusion crab apple. I think it gets somewhere between 20 to 25 tall and wide. We'll end up limbing up this smaller stuff because right now I kind of have a hard time mowing around it. Though the plan is to kind of incorporate this into a garden. I just haven't started this. This was just kind of going to be a focal point of that. You'll see I kind of have open area. I had to create a little bit of a shade space. The sun pretty much bakes here all day. So to have a little bit of a shade garden, I need this to grow. Be probably another, I'd say maybe 10 years. I mean, I'm 6 foot, so I'd say this tree's about 8 feet tall right now. Probably 8 feet tall, about 8 feet wide, so pretty consistent. Yeah, it was a real bummer I lost that, but we're gonna let it go. I'll have to keep an eye, but it's healing itself good, real well. I'm kind of happy, so I'm hoping. Pretty resilient trees, so. So that's kind of how you do some pruning. Like I said, a lot of people are afraid to make some cuts or make a mistake. Trees are pretty forgiving. You can almost get them back into any shape you want. I mean, you can see I lost the whole center part of my tree, and it's finding its own way to start over and put something back up into the sun, and it'll be good. I'm gonna bring you over here real quick. We're not gonna take no tools. I'm not gonna do no pruning on this, but kind of bring you over here. It's gonna be pretty dark until I can kind of get turned around and get the lighting right, but kind of see where coming into. So here's the this is my Macintosh apple. See if I can't get the other way, see if we can see a little bit better. So here's my Macintosh apple. You can see when it was young, I did the open crown method, but when I was talking about like water sprouts, you'll see here, you got this stem. This is new growth, grew, and it's just shot straight up. Kind of hard to see. Yeah, let me see, maybe this way. Ah, that's better. So, yeah, right there, this stem going up. Those are called water sprouts. There's another one right there. I'll prune those out. I don't do too much. As you can see, this is, well, I don't know if, can't really tell on camera, but it's about 12 inches thick of an apple tree. You know, I got another one over here. It fell over. This was a Cortland. She is done for. She is gonna be cut down to the ground this year. Then we will be cutting down this one because it's not producing anymore. It had uprooted years ago. I cut it down. This is what happens with any hardwood. People think you cut a hardwood down and that's the end of it. It throws out suckers. So, and I did get some apples, but she's about done for. We're gonna remove all that. The reason I hadn't, because this still flowers. You know, and you got to have something across to get apples, and I get tons of apples on the Macintosh, so I hadn't. But you know, I planted this crab apple. Crab apples can help with pollination. I actually have a wild one out in the woods, out back behind the house there. And then I planted, well, we can go take a quick walk. I actually may have to do some pruning on them. Not much, they're young. But we're out here, I might. So I planted a Gala and Honeycrisp. See if I can't set this up. Can we see the? That doesn't look too bad. So yeah, here's the Honeycrisp. I'll just take a quick look. So I kind of like the way this is growing. Well, the deer didn't get to these ones, so what I think I am gonna do though, so I think I'm gonna take this branch. It's kind of shooting up. I don't like the way that's too tight of an angle. Gonna take that off right there. Something had happened here. That's a little bit dead. I don't know if I'm just gonna take this branch right out. I think I'm happy with that for now. Hoping I might get some apples this year. We will see. But I am good with everything there. And we'll come over here. That one wasn't quite in the sun yet. Here we got here's the gala. I think I'm pretty happy with this one. For some reasons, they left the Honeycrisp alone, but the deer decided to munch on this one. This is just a small branch. It's pretty much done for. Gonna just cut that there. They didn't munch this one too bad. Just a couple little chomps. And just clean them up so it's just a cleaner wound. They pruned them when I didn't want them to. Hadn't had much issue for years, but looks like I'm gonna have to start protecting them again. But like I said, just thought I'd give you a quick guide on just how to prune things. You know, a lot of people get nervous about it, but there's really no reason to be nervous. You know, if something kind of just doesn't look right, it probably isn't. You know, everyone always says, you know, you're looking for dead, diseased, you know, crossing branches. And I think, you know, when it comes to people's fruit trees, you know, we sometimes spend quite a bit on our fruit trees, and you get nervous about making the wrong cut. But ultimately, I guess particularly with apple trees, because there's different types of advice out there. That Macintosh, the real big one I'd show you. So I'd grown that into what they call vase shape. So you basically spread out and keep the center all clean. Then you can grow an apple tree like this. This is Central Lita. So people end up mixing the two. Either you're doing the vase kind of open center, or you do a Central Lita type. So that was vase, and the Gala and the Honeycrisp here I'm doing is Central Litas. I actually bought these on sale. Knew what type of apples. They did not say if they're dwarf, semi-dwarf, full trees, so we're gonna find out. But that's kind of, you know, how you prune apples. Or if you had a tree that got destroyed, just, you know, cut out the damaged part, let it go through a year, maybe 2 years of growth. The tree will kind of show you how it wants to grow and how it wants to take over, and then, you know, you kind of just make a decision on some of the cuts of what you think's the best way. So that's what I got for today's video. Hopefully soon it warms up around here. It seems like 80% of the country is in a heat wave, and here in central Maine we can't even get into the 40s. So well, I guess barely. We're barely getting into the 40s. We'll be having more videos coming up. You know, when I do my garden cleanup, that should be soon. I'll leave some of this stuff around for some of the beneficial insects, but I'm surrounded by stuff. There's plenty of places for them to overwinter and survive besides just my garden. You know, I guess if you're in the suburbs or possibly in the city, you know, not surrounded all by nature, as I am. So Like I said, I'm Tony with the Cozy Cabin Garden, Zone 5 in Central Maine, and we'll see you next time.